Alright, kia ora and good morning. We're back with the metrics dashboard that I'm building for my personal website. I have not done much since we worked on this last on Tuesday. So what we see here, when I refresh the page now, that is going to reload. On this metrics dashboard, I want to share some of my numbers publicly. I have now hooked it up to the Twitch API to get how many Twitch followers and Twitch views I have. But that's it, and that's not super interesting. Down here in the footer, we see how many people are watching this as we're live, and this live element has this neat little ping animation on it, all done via Tailwind CSS. And whenever I refresh the page, that will update as well. Before I add more numbers up here, there's one more thing that bothers me about this element, and that is that parenthesis S, because it's only in the case where there's one viewer will I not need the S. Otherwise, I always need the S. I might have 0 viewers, 1 viewer, singular, or 2 viewers, 3 viewers, 4 viewers. It'll always be plural. And that sounds like something that we can do with code. If we can check, is this a 1, then use that word. If it's not a 1, use another word. So we will start with that. Microphone is on, yes. And that was my Twitch status component that I'll just adjust real quick. What it does in here, we did on the last stream. Haven't changed the code here, I think. So if you want to check that out, go back just one video. And in here, this is the span element where it says viewer count viewers. I'll just do a condition. If viewer count is 1, then do 1 viewer. I could put the viewer count in there as well, but if I know it's 1, then it is going to be 1 viewer. Otherwise, I want to have the template string where it says viewer count viewers. There we go. And now if we're on 1, it should say 1 viewer. Hi, 1 viewer. It's perfect that you joined just now. So we see we have 1 viewer. And when we get to 2 viewers or back to 0 viewers again, we'll have the plural S. That is neat. So we're going to just commit this one component properly pluralize viewer. Why can I not write the word viewer in Twitch status? Yeah, but we want to do something else today. It's cool that this is out of the way. This is done now. This is a bit cleaner. But I wanted to add more numbers up here. Instead of saying just the number of Twitch followers and Twitch views, I was thinking of other APIs that I could hook up here. From Twitch, I could potentially get the number of hours I've streamed. That's something that I'm still interested in adding. But today I want to add a second API entirely, and that is the analytics that I use for this, which is Plausible Analytics. Question came up on the last stream, they are GDPR compliant, so there is now no user personally identifiable information that's being tracked. They track page views and bounce rates for me, and I want to add things from that API. I'm not sure exactly what I can get from it, but we can explore that together now. So I'm guessing I had a quick look at this, to be honest, yesterday. We could get, so they have their different time periods. I could say, give me the stats for the last n calendar months relative to date. So I'm not sure if that is the last 30 days from today, like from the 10th of March, or if that is the last complete month. And that makes it sound more like it's the complete month. Or month, the calendar month that the date falls into. So if I go give me all the stats for month, that would be all my numbers for March so far. And 30 days, last n days relative to date, that I think is more interesting. Like, these are my numbers for the last 30 days up to today. Just for today, I don't think that is super interesting. And custom, we could even give it a range apparently. So from this date to that date. But I think for most of it, I'm gonna go my visitor count and my page views for the last 30 days. We have a bunch of properties here. We could filter. What could we filter by? We could filter by what browser visitors used, or what country they are from. I don't think that is very interesting for what very interesting in general, don't get me wrong. Not very interesting for what I'm doing here, where I just want to say my page has been viewed, or my pages have been viewed in total X number of times. We have just a handful of endpoints, I think. We have stats, real-time visitors. So I could show, same as I have the Twitch count down here, I could say there are 2 people looking at any pages on my site right now, but those numbers are really low. And to be fair, I have very low visitor numbers. It's in the double digits per day. I hope that number will go up once I do more and focus more on the SEO as well. I have a few pages that do very well and a lot that don't. But that means that at the same time, I don't want to show like you are the only person looking at any of this. So we will probably not do, as interesting as it is, like to have this real-time count. Don't think that is the one. Stats aggregate sounds more like what I'm looking for. Aggregates metrics over a certain time period. If I'm familiar with the dashboard, corresponds with the top row. Okay, so we can ask it for the unique visitors, page views, bounce rate, and visit duration. And that, I think 2 at least of those I would like. Page views definitely, and unique visitors maybe. So we're gonna start with this, and we're gonna have it return the page views for us. And in here we go to the open TSX. I set up just this one count, so it's different from the Twitch API, where you first have to authenticate, like we have to get an OAuth token to authenticate. With the Plausible API, we need to use the API key as the bearer token, which I would have expected to work similarly to what Twitch does. First give me a token, then I can use that token, and that will probably expire. Here we always use the same API key, which doesn't have me too excited, but we'll do that just to make it work. We can request /stat/aggregate. The site ID is the domain that I run this under, which is myname.com. The period I wanted to change. So for the period, we're gonna go, was it 30 days or just 30D? That was 30D for the last 30 days, and we'll have to put that disclaimer on the stats somewhere. And visitors, page views, the bounce rate, and the visit duration I don't really want, because I don't think those numbers will look very promising. But let's actually just do visitors and page views. Why not? And we get a response back, get the JSON from that, and right now I'm only passing all of that to the page itself. And if we look at what I log to the console here, zoom in a bit, why don't we? We get an object with a results object in it, a page views with a value, and visitors with a value. So same as the API documentation provides us here, results, bounce rate, results, page views. So to get that out of here, we can go page views is the plausible aggregate JSON.results.pageviews.value. I'm not sure why they put it in the value here, but they probably know better than I do. And we have to pass that then to the page views, and page views is a number, so we can type it as page views is a number. Did I fix that? Yeah, fixed that. And I have a, where is it? A metrics component that I just pass objects, an array of objects to, with a label and a value, and a label and a value. This is how I get to the Twitch followers. That is that label here, and the Twitch views, which is that label there. So if we go label with page views and page views, and I don't get anything. What did I do wrong? What did I do wrong? Okay, console log. Poor man's debugging. We're gonna go console log, show me what the page views should be. Why is that 0? Wait, all of that. Problem in line 140. Let's look at that. Plausible aggregate JSON. Yes. Okay, I have to zoom down here. Cannot read properties of undefined reading value. So I'm guessing that page views here is cased incorrectly. I'm guessing there's a lowercase letter or an uppercase letter where it should be lowercase. Yeah. They write page views all lowercase, and I wrote page views with an uppercase V. Page views, yeah, okay, let's go. No, I want to keep it uppercase for now. And I see it logged to the console. This is 1051 here. So that when this, okay, that could be a quick stream today. We have 1051 page views. But to make this, to qualify this a bit more, last 30 days, put a qualifier here. I'm not sure if that will read well. I might have to put that disclaimer somewhere else. And we see that this updated correctly. Hi, the second viewer. Just to show, if it's one viewer, it says one viewer. If it says two viewers, it will put the S on here. If you both nope out of this now, it will go down to 0 viewers, also in the plural, which is neat. Page views last 30 days. Not a fan of just slapping this on here, but we will keep it for now. And I also had the visitors on here, and we are going to go visitors count. So I have Twitch follower count, Twitch view count, visitors count would be, and how do they case that in the response, is visitors. Add that to the metrics. Come on, here. And you are the unique visitors. Also last 30 days. This is why it doesn't look so amazing. Visitor count, what it is, did I go singular or plural? Visitor count, because with these I have view count as well. Visitor count, visitors count, so that would have to be singular. And I forgot what I called it. Let's use visitor count, and that also is a number. Visitor count is a number. So 756. I don't need to log anything here anymore. And I don't need to pass the full JSON object. Okay, I'm thinking I want to do more today. These numbers by themselves, that is neat. That we can format. We can format this nicely with, I think, Intel as well. We looked at datetime format last time, but what else does Intel have? Wait, get me to Intel. I think they have a number format as well. So we have datetime format, display names, list format, number format, yes. And we could format it as a currency, or we could format it with maximum significant digits. So anything where we go and we try to format something as a monetary value, as a currency value, we don't need to do that by hand, where we usually go count this many blocks and then put a period between like these 3 digits. We can have that, we can pass that on to Intel number format. And does that make sense for all numbers that I have? Probably does. So for everything else on the dashboard, if I get to 4 digits of Twitch followers at some point, or Twitch views, I think it makes sense to have that period there to separate that as well. So I'm not going to do that in this component, but instead I'm going to look at the metrics component, which is the one that I pass all these metrics to. and that has a value here. So this is this maps over all the metrics that I pass it, all these objects of value, label, and value, and it puts them in these containers. And I can format it. Let's do it inline first, and then let's clean it up a bit. So we want to go new. I wonder what it does if I don't pass it any locale, because that is optional. Doesn't say here what it does when there's nothing else given. So let's go new intel number format, and I think as with the datetime format, I then go dot format. Yep. Okay, and they put, that is exactly what we're doing now. If we don't specify a locale, it probably uses the, what's the default locale? It could be the browsers, or no, it probably is the browser's default locale. So we are going to go format value here. And I didn't have to reload, it did that already, and it has the comma in it, but because I have the dates formatted in enus as well, I think I might want to just be specific here as well, like be explicit here. And we want to type that, use that as enus. It will be the same, but it will then be the same across all kinds of visitors that I have. And if I now suddenly had a lot more unique visitors, it would work there as well. Let's actually confirm that. If we go visitors count, visitor count, if I just pretended this was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, whatever, a large number, what would that look like? Okay, and we see from the back, every 3 digits, it inserts a comma as the thousands, million, trillion separator. And if I ever get to that stage, if we see this, if this resizes now, if I ever get to the stage where I have numbers this large, it might be difficult for the layout, but it's unlikely that I'll have this many unique visitors. So I'm gonna keep it at that. If it suddenly explodes and I have a bunch of page views and the number doesn't fit neatly into this little area here anymore, then that will be the least of my problems, I think. What else can we do with that? So the format will always be the same, which means that we don't have to create a new intel number format every time. Instead, I'm going to create that outside of the component. I'm going to call it number format. And then in here, we can just go number format dot number. We'll do that every time. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, but we don't have to create a new one of that for each metric that we have. Before we had 1, 2, 3, 4 different ones because we created a new intel number format every time. Now it's the same one, reused across all of them. What happens if we change the locale now? If we go DE, wait, then I guess it would be a period. Yeah, because in Germany we use the periods for that, but we're gonna go ENUS here. And see how this updated down here as well. Hi, all 5 of you viewers, that is neat. It doesn't update live, it only updates on page refresh, but that is fine. What else can I get from the Plausible API? There's some cleanup that I want to do here, definitely. But for now, I want to see what other numbers I can put on this. So we have visitors, we have page views. Bounce rate is too high to show. I don't want to show you how many people bounce off of my pages. And visit duration, just for the fun of it. I want to see, let's see, the visit duration would be plausible aggregate JSON.results dot bounce underscore rate dot value. and we pass that here as the bounce rate. Visit duration, what am I saying? Visit duration. Is that a number that I want to show? Because if it's just very, very, very low, and it is a decimal value, that is probably seconds, I would assume, but we can look at that in the documentation. The visit duration would be the visit duration. It reloads for us, and do I want to why did I go bounce rate? Visit duration. But still, where's the typo? There is a typo here somewhere. Plausible aggregate JSON. Results. Visit underscore duration. So what this tells me, cannot read property undefined, reading value. So out of this full chain, plausible aggregate JSON dot results dot visit underscore duration dot value, it has a problem trying to read the value, which means visit duration is wrong. But it says here that it is supposed to be visit duration, so let's log it out. And why don't you show me what is happening? Okay, I am not requesting it. In the request, I'm only asking for the visitors and page views. I wasn't asking for the visit duration, so I didn't get the visit duration. Visit duration, fair enough. Visit duration 48. If that is 48 seconds, I'm not gonna show that on there. And where? Give me more information about the visit duration. Metrics. Comma separated list of metrics to show. Visitors, page views, events, bounce rate, visit duration. If not specified, it will default to visitors. So if we don't give it a list of visitors and page views, it would only give us visitors. But what is duration? In. Has to be seconds. Has to be seconds. I don't know. I don't think it tells me any information about second. No, minutes. It can't be 48 minutes that someone stays on my page. No, so I assume they mean seconds here. But since it doesn't tell me, and because that value is low anyways, we are not going to put it on there. And take off the visit duration down here and here. What else could we get from this API? So real time we didn't need. Aggregate has all of these. I think page views and visitors is good enough. Site ID is required, period. We have, if not specified, will default to 30D. So the last 30 days might as well be explicit and keep it there. Metrics, we have compare. Compare is interesting, because compare gives me the, so you can specify compare equals previous period to calculate the percent difference with the previous period for each metric. Previous period will be exact the same length as the specified in the period parameter. So I think if I go 30 days, it would show me the value for the 30 days, and with compare also for the previous 30 days. So if we go and compare equals previous period, I wonder what the result looks like, if that is a new results object or gives me another value in here. So we have to, we're still logging that out anyways. So we are going to save this, reload the page, and we have, okay, so we get a value and we get a change. And a change, I assume, if they say percentage, has improved by, or has gone up by 8% or has gone down by 9%. And let's confirm that by adding the visit duration and even the bounce rate, because I want to see if that would give me negative values as well. And there we go. So the visit duration is now 48, and it used to be negative. The change is negative 13. So I guess has gone down by 13%. It doesn't give me the value and makes me calculate it myself. But from that, it has to be percentage. Yeah, it has to be percentage, because I didn't go from a bounce rate of 4 to a bounce rate of 84. And I didn't go from 8 page views to 1051 page views. I went up by 8%. So let us add that here. The page views change. Page views change is not the value, but the change. And the visitor count and visitor count change as well. And same here, page views change and visitor count change. I could pass that to my metrics now. I think I took that off actually, and let's bring it back. So we pass a label, a value, and nothing else to it. We could also pass a change to it. Page views change, and change is page views change. This will complain to me though, because in my types index, it doesn't complain in Vim, but it would when I try to build metric. Yeah, in my metrics, in a metric, I have a label, a value, and now also a change, which has to be a number. A change cannot be a string, but a change is optional. So in the metrics component here, where I map over all of the values, I could go label, value, and change. And let's just start, if I have a change, if that is not undefined, print one thing, and if it is undefined, print another thing. And we're gonna go with a paragraph change. That's gonna change in a second. Change, change, change. NP, and here we are going to go change unknown. Change unknown for all of you. But I'm trying to pass it here. Page views change. Visitor count change. Did I forget to save something anywhere? Okay, probably forgot to save this one. Change 8 and change 8. But that is 9. Because I am passing the same value twice. Yeah. Visitor count change. Yeah. Would not have caught that if they were the same. Change 8, change 9. And let's actually add the bounce rate, because I want to style this change now. Bounce rate is the bounce rate and the bounce rate change. And we want the same down here. Bounce rate and bounce rate. And we need to request. Okay, it's still in the request, so we get the bounce rate. And it is not being passed here yet as the bounce rate and bounce rate change. Because I want to do something with color here. I want to see some go up and some go down, so I can use some red and some green to show this is not a number. And I see here the page rate, bounce rate has gone up as well. I need to go visit duration instead. So you two are both visit duration. And then why didn't you work down here? And you two also are the visit duration and visit duration. Why are you not a number? Why are you not a number? What did I... okay, so I copied it and I forgot to change the name. Visit duration here, and instead of bounce rate, it is visit underscore duration. Where's my head at today? Visit underscore duration. Yeah, because I didn't pass it to the page before. Can you reload? What is still... Okay. There we go, 48, a bounce rate of 48. I don't know the unit. I am going to say seconds probably, but negative 13. Okay, so back to the metrics component. And here, if there is a change, if I know what the change is, then I want to put it somewhere. And let's start by going... What do we want? So we can put this in a tag of sorts. So BG, let's start gray. This is Tailwind CSS now. Everything here is Tailwind. BG gray 200, and I am going to make you an inline block element. And that didn't do anything. And if there's nothing, if we don't know what the change is, just don't put anything there. So in that case, return null here. It's not a paragraph, this can be a span. Close the span. And okay, the inline block doesn't do anything because this is a flex container with a flex column here. I think the change would make most sense next to the number here, right? So we are going to put this value, this formatted value, in another div, all the divs, and put the change in here. Close the div. And I want you two to also be next to each other, so I'm going to make you another flex container. And put you items center. Put you here and put some space between you, so space x 2.5. That could work. We don't need to put change here. Just the value, and I want to give you everything's pink because that is my indicator. Hey, you forgot to change the text color here, so text gray. Let's do 600, doesn't need to be super obvious and can be the same as this one down here probably. So let's actually copy that. If we go to the Twitch status, TSX, when we are live, then the container has a background color of gray 200 and a text color of nothing. 600 probably, has to be 600. So yeah, those are the same values. Here I put a padding around it of px 2.5 and py1. Put you here. That number is too large though. I want that to be the same text size, and that would be text sm. Text USM, and I want to round you as well, so we are going to go rounded. I think just rounded, no other qualifier. Because this is a different kind of element. This is not like this one down here you can click on. It has a slight, but I don't expect people to click on it. That's why I put the title here as well. I want you to be fully rounded. So rounded full. And the text can be a bit bolder. Is that text medium or is that font medium? I'm gonna go text medium. And that looks like it wasn't it. Font medium? Yeah, okay, font medium had a made a very, very slight difference. And I want to see the value in with a color as well. So if it went up, wait, oh, okay. So 8 doesn't really mean anything, and 9 and -13 doesn't really mean anything. I have to slap the percentage on here at least. But I know that that only works for this API. It might be different for other APIs. I have to make sure that any change I pass in always represents a percentage. Let's add some color. Let's make this a bit colorful and change these. Oh, I have to now put my Tailwind classes in a template string because I want to add some conditionally. If we were using like something like style components or emotion, I could now pass properties to this and change depending on that. But because I don't have that, I am going to use is the change greater than 0. If the change is greater than 0, that means it is a positive change, and positive is good. So bg green 200 and text green 700. And you don't like that. Okay, because I didn't close the ternary here. So that gives me gives me a green value next to these. Do I want to make it even smaller? Do I want to go text XS? That seems too tiny. It doesn't need to be all this small. We can go with that. Still not a fan of how it says last 30 days here, but I don't know how to do that better. And if the change is not greater than 0, so 0 or negative, I would go bg red 200 and text red 800. That looks very bad now. That looks like it's terrible that this went down. Okay, might be able to make this a bit lighter. Maybe green 100 works as well. Nah, that is almost invisible, so we're gonna stay with the 200 shade of the colors. And here, 200 shade of green as well. Is not perfect, but is not terrible either. I'm gonna put you a bit closer together, give you a space x of 2, move you just a tiny bit, even more. Is that too much? Yeah, that is too much. Move you over here. No, okay, so 2 was good. Do I want to show a plus if it is a positive value? I do that by checking, hey, is the change greater than 0? And if so, put a plus here. So I have a +8, +9%, and -13%. I pass in a number, an integer number that could be positive, could be negative, and if it is greater than 0, put in the plus here. I think instead of this, I might want to say, I might want to give this a superscript that says these are the numbers for the last 30 days. So instead of slapping that, okay, so instead of slapping that on all of the entries, the one with the last 30 days. Superscript. Can I just put a superscript 1, 2, 3, 4 on here? Superscript 1. It doesn't need. I could make this an HTML element now, but there is a character that is a superscript 1. Don't need to get all fancy with it, with the sub or the sub elements tags. Let's see, how is that? Page views, unique visitors, visit duration. But then I'd have to add a disclaimer down here somewhere where I say the super 1 last 30 days, just that for now. Text gray 700, dark text gray 200, doesn't have to be the exact same shade as this one. Not ideal, not ideal, but I'm gonna keep it. I prefer that over it saying last 30 days here, last 30 days here, and last 30 days here. What else can we get from, and I think I'm gonna just keep it at that for now. I don't think I can pass a change to the Twitch metrics here, because even though I could go in and I could see when did people follow me over the last 30 days, or the people that followed me, who followed me over the last 30 days, or the 30 days before that, I could build a percentage. I would not get the people that unfollowed me. I wouldn't see, I would, I think, incorrectly inflate the numbers, because maybe 20 people follow me, but 20 people unfollow me, and then the change would say, oh look, 20 new people followed, but really the change would have to be 0. So I'm gonna not put changes on there. Okay. Do I need to make that a bit smaller? Those pills are a bit large. So let's see if we can go 0.5 and just 2 on the horizontal. Looks a bit crowded, so back to 1. Yeah, no, that was better before. So with the 2.5 units on the x-axis and the 1 unit on the y-axis gets me these kinds of pills. And I can actually, because the change is either positive or negative, if it is not null, I can remove null or undefined. I can remove this gray, because these will either be green or red. I am not going to do anything for if it's exactly 0. What happens if a change is exactly 0? Let's say the visitor count didn't change at all. So I would get 0%, and that is red. Is that okay? That is okay, because if the number doesn't... No, wait. Okay, is it bad that the unique visitors stayed the same, or is it okay that the visitors stayed the same? And let's say it is acceptable. So if a change is 0 or greater than 0. So if unique visitors are unchanged, think that's kind of bad. I think it's bad if the visitor stays static. Same as if revenue didn't go up, that wouldn't be good. So let's keep it at red. Hopefully it's not, well, it is eventually going to be equal at some point, unless the numbers always go up. What else can we get from the stats API? From my analytics provider. So compare, it's cool that we added. We have a visitor change now. We could see how many visitors do we have. If I wanted to build a graph, how many visitors did I have on this day, that day, that day, this day, and show you how the graph goes up or down, or whatever direction the graph wants to go. I don't really need to add visualization to this dashboard as I have it right now. And because the numbers are so low and look all over the place, it wouldn't be a good look. I don't need to share those numbers. This next one could be a bit more interesting, the stats breakdown. This endpoint allows you to break down your stats by some property. If you're familiar with SQL family databases, this endpoint corresponds to running group by on a certain property in your stats. And this is the interesting part. This endpoint can be used to fetch data for top sources, top pages, top countries, and similar reports. So while I couldn't put them on here as numbers, I think showing the top 5 visited pages, that might be interesting. I'm not sure how I can get from the URL to the page though, because of how the routing. I think I have that. I think I have that on each of the elements. Let's see how we can get there first. So this we no longer need to log, and we want the plausible breakdown is await, and we're going to fetch this endpoint here. That is HTTPS plausible.io/API /v1/stats/breakdown. The site ID is my own site ID. Yeah, you can try that at home. It's not going to work because you need to have an API key that has access to this property. And I probably want to pass, apart from that, period is also 30D. So we're going to go period 30D. I wonder if I could get it to return all numbers from all the statistics that it has. And property is, they have visit source and then metrics. But I don't want the property visit source. What does that do? So here they here they group by visit source, and they group by direct traffic, Hacker News, Google, Twitter, and Indie Hackers in this example. That is the one that we group by, and if I want to group by the page, we're gonna have to look at the documentation. I think that was further up on the page. Why did I write just proper? Property. And the metrics that I want are the if I only want the top pages, then I care about the page views. Metrics is page views. Limit is 5. So yeah, let's say limit, give me the 5 most popular pages. This needs to be an ampersand though. What property do I want to group by? I think I have an example on here somewhere. Which property to break down the stats by? Valid options are listed in the property section above. By event name, page view. No, I don't want to group page views by page views. Event page, visit entry page. Okay, so this is for events that we're triggering, and that is not what I had in mind. Visit entry page, visit exit page, visit source. Where is visit just page? path name of the event, of path name of the page where the event is triggered. And I'm not sure. That is probably it though. It's probably event page. Let's go event : page. I wonder if they have visit page, because they have entry page, like where do people, what's the first page people visit and what is the last page people visit? What is the exit page? What is the source, so where are they coming from? What page is referring them? UTM parameters, medium source, campaign content term, what device they are on, what browser they are on. I could show you what the most popular browser to visit my site with is. I don't know why you would want that. And the browser version, visit the OS that you use. So it has to be event : page. Down at the stats breakdown here. And we get another result. So const plausible breakdown JSON is await plausible breakdown.json. And then what do we want to pass? We want to pass nothing yet. We want to log that first. Plausible breakdown JSON. Let's see what that gives me. If that returns something like your most visited page is your legal notice or is your privacy policy, that wouldn't look too good for my content either. Cool, I made a mistake. I forgot to pass my API key. Please use a valid plausible API key as a bearer token. So here where I do my fetch request, I forgot to pass in the options the headers, and this is the same one as up here. The headers, and request that again. Refresh, and we get object. Would have to be 5 objects. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yes. But how about you show me it? Refresh again, and there we go. So out of these 1051 page views that I have over the last 30 days, array remove max is one of my posts, one of my articles that gets the most by almost double. So let's look at what that is. Localhost 3000, array remove max. And the numbers go down quick. So this was a tip that I wrote on how to remove the largest number from an array in JavaScript. If we have an array like 16, 4, 23, 15, 42, 8, how do we remove only the largest value? So that in this case we cut out only the 42, or with this one we cut out only the both instances of the 41. It's a regular blog post. Then we have a landing page that is an article on how Germans tend to say hello together in emails, because they say hallo zusammen in German, and that they just translate to English one-to-one, which is grammatically incorrect, and that showed how to say hello together instead. I had a full series on that. That is a course on here that I think isn't even linked anywhere. I don't think I have the courses. Yeah, right. I don't have the courses landing page linked from any site. So this is all Google. This is all SEO traffic. But this, where was it? This one article is the second most visited. So I need to clean that up. I need to do a lot more with that, seeing how much traffic out of the overall traffic that I get it receives. The landing page itself, one article on styled components, and one on installing the SML, I think compiler, SML-NJ of New Jersey, a programming language that is still used in some universities to teach functional programming. That is ages old. I think that's almost 10 years old at this point. This is the 4th most visited page on my blog, so I definitely need to spice that up quite a bit. And let's see what this last one is. So I'm not sure if publishing those values would do me much good. So if I share those, because the numbers, what happened? What happened? I tried going to this page. Yeah, okay. Cool, this also broke. That is fantastic. That is from, it's almost 10 years old at this point. That is from July 30th, 2012. So if I show those pages on here, then I'm definitely not going to show the page views, because they, like this top one is almost 6 times as much as the 5th most popular page, but we can still show something. Slash open. Like I can be open to, I can decide now to what point I want to be public with this. So instead, I am going to pass the top pages. I want to take the plausible breakdown JSON, and what do we have? We have again results, and then an array. Results and an array, so we can map over that. And in here, I have objects consisting of page and page views. And if I only want those here, then I can go to, I'm just going to map the page out of here. What is happening? So get the result, and from the result I only want the page. And that would mean that top pages is an array of strings now, just the URLs, no longer the page name, page URLs and the page views. We want to have the top pages here is an array of strings, no semicolon here. Doesn't make sense to put that into the metrics here, because that isn't a, that is a number, a value label kind of deal. Instead, we can go do an h2 most viewed pages, and I'm also going to do the superscript 1 here to link to the footnote saying this is over the last 30 days. And now we can go top pages dot map top page, and the top page is really just a URL. We can put this in an, it's an ordered list really, because they are ordered by something. We don't publicize what that is, but it is ordered by something. And we're going to put top page on here just as that for now. And close the ordered list. What are you not happy with? That one. Evaluating top pages dot map. Wait, no, you're fine. Most viewed pages is now a list of these, and that is the exact same order that we saw in the terminal before. Array remove max, hello together, styled components, props destructuring, and installing SML on OS X. And I would prefer having the page titles on here, but I'm not sure how to get them out of that. So instead, we are going to go, we're going to use the link component and link to the top page, because those will be internal links. We can use the link component here. And wait a second, you go out here and close you. And I think link is not in here yet, so we're going to import link from next link. And now these are links, but we can't tell that they are links because this is, the styling is off. Everything is pink because that is my default warning color. Hey, you forgot to style this. I use Tailwind typography, which has this pros class on everything, and I can take it here, put it around this as well. So this will apply the same typography as it does to all my other text I have. Pros, if I put you into a pros, it would do the list styling as well, I think, and would put the right, yeah, it would put the right font size on the heading here, and would show me most viewed pages. The styling is not great though. What do I want to do with that? Do I want to keep that? So for one, I want to have them be a bit closer. And I think I can still do that here. Or would Tailwind typography override that? Let's do space Y10 to see if that puts out a space between them now. That would work. So I'm guessing they have the same in there. I just want to have that be a bit more narrow. I would go 0. That doesn't do anything. No, so I'm thinking that I want to have this be a completely different element. So let's not put this in pros, let's style it ourselves. Let's style it ourselves, and let's go. First we have to change the, oh, I forgot dark mode again. I forgot dark mode again, so the link we're gonna put in this text. Blue 600 is the link color I use, and in dark mode, just slightly different text, blue 500. And I want to put you in a, I want to put you in a card. I have this card component. I think that would break the page because I don't have that anywhere else on here. I said page, so I ended it with SE. I can import the card from Yield UI React. Put you in a card. Maybe it's not terrible, it's not great, but it's not terrible. So we're gonna keep it. And here now this card contains an ordered list that we can give some padding. px3, px4, py3 I think is the sizing that I use in this usually. And put some space between you. Space y, put Is that helpful at all? I don't think that is any helpful to anyone looking at this. Who would check that? I think to be, I mean this, I call it open metrics. And to be fair, to really be open, I would have to put the page view counts as well on there as well. Okay, so we are going to do it. Top pages is no longer just the page, it is the results. And top pages would then be, we're gonna fix the type later. The top page consists of a page and a, what was it? A page views. So you'd be page, you'd be page, and in here we also go span page views. Wait for this to reload. No, nothing. Why not? I'm passing the plausible breakdown JSON results, which is this array consisting of page and page views. and I pass that to my page, and I map over them. And I map over them, getting the page and page views. They use lowercase v again. Okay. So there we go. And I just want to see what this will look like if I put it in a similar bubble as those up here. BG gray 200, but these one I want to have tiny. And give you some padding. PX 1.5 and PY 0.5. And make you fully rounded as well. Rounded full. And a darker text color. Text gray, I think it defaults to 600. Let's try 700. And we used font medium on the other ones. On font medium. And this order is incorrect now. It needs to come after, and we can put a space x 2.5 between you. Now the text is too dark. Let's go back and let's say 600 again. Put this on a new line so it breaks nicely. And we can say views in here as well. Okay, I think I want to have you be even lighter. And maybe the whole thing can be gray 100. What's that look like? It's barely visible. No, that is barely visible. And here we're going to go 2.5. Do we want to have a larger pill? Nope. 2. I think it is okay that this doesn't show the correct title of the page. I can live with that, but I want to put some more space between you. Now to check if I want to keep it in a card, though, in this white container. Does it need that? It doesn't really need that, does it? So let's put you back here. Let's remove the padding, but let's keep the vertical spacing. And we can remove the import for the card here. I want to put some more space between those. Why are the metrics so close to everything else? Y12. Why did that not change anything? Why did that not change anything? So I just wanted to give the... okay, I see. It changed something here. End div. And you in the pros. No, okay. That was probably a bad call. Yeah, no, that wasn't it. So we are going to keep that at what it was. Sure, let's move the most viewed pages up here. No, okay, so this pro is in the middle here. Doesn't need to go here. Okay, that was my problem. I have a space Y between all elements, and the heading was its own element, and it had extra space added to the bottom of it. Now this would wash up to this. the most viewed pages I can style by hand instead of making them a prose. Or I can move the prose in here now. That is just as fair. That way I know that my H2s are consistent across everything. And give you some margin top of how's 3? Reload, okay. Nope, I want to give you some more space. That was the wrong one. You on 3. Space Y, where can we change that? How about here? That is okay. Can we do more? Can we do 9? Okay, that looks decent. We have this qualifier, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, 1 here, but it doesn't link to this one down here, to this footnote, which I could do. No, I couldn't, because I don't know how to link the label down there, so I am not. And most viewed pages we can keep at that. Array remove max. As long as it links there, I don't need to show the full page title, because that's what I get from the metrics anyways, and the title could change. Yeah, let's leave it at that. And let's be transparent. Let's say, let's show people this is how many views this got over the last 30 days. Do I want to show more? What does it look like if I ask it for 10 pages? Because I think just 3 wouldn't be interesting. How quickly, oh god, how quickly does that fall off? If the last page is like 2 views, that means that I have a lot of SEO homework to do. Yeah, okay. 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 But it reveals some pages that otherwise you might not get to. I am going to keep it on there, and I'm going to change most viewed pages to 10 most viewed pages. Is that? Nope. No, I think it's not necessary to know where that is. You see they are ordered by views. What does that look like if we move the pill to the beginning again? It's not fully the same, but I don't want to hard code them to a value either. I could put them in a table, which would be cheating, or I could put them in a grid. I could put them in a grid. So if I don't make this an unordered list, let's try that. If we just make this a div, which semantically isn't the best thing to do right now, I know. If we put that in a div, and here we have just a React fragment. First of all, what happens? Does everything break now? Okay, so everything is just in one thing, and just one after the other. They are all spans. The link is an inline element, so they all cozy up next to each other. If we make this a grid now, not dig, a grid, what happens? We have a 1-column grid. Is it calls to, or is it grid calls to? Back to the Tailwind documentation. And give me the columns. Grid template columns. Okay, it's grid calls to. That is not quite it. That is not quite it. How do I tell it that the first one I want to be auto? Grid template columns repeat, okay. Let's look at the documentation for grid. Okay, that wasn't helpful. Grid column start, end, template rows, start, end, auto flow, auto columns. Auto calls auto. Is that something? Auto calls auto. If you add more columns, make them auto. That isn't it. Auto calls min. Does that can I combine that with a number of columns? Grid flow call. Not quite it. So down here where it says grid template columns, I might just not do it if I can't figure it out now. If I can't figure it out now, I will just not do it. Grid template rows. Might just not do it because semantically, I'm like this could be counted as an excuse now, but semantically, an ordered list is more correct. Anyways, I don't want to put me struggling with the documentation now on stream. That is not exciting. So let's do it like that. That way at least those are aligned here and we can see what the views are for them. We see that they are links, and before we call it a day, we have another few minutes where we can look at the dark mode. So if I switch this to dark mode now, everything switches with the media query. That isn't ideal. That isn't ideal at all. So first of all, we're gonna start with the easy elements. Change this pill here to in dark mode be BG gray. Let's try 700. That would be okay. And dark text gray. Let's do 300. Is that okay? Let's try something darker. If we go much darker, yeah, the contrast, it will be much too low. If we go 400, that is barely readable. 200 would be better. 200 on a 700 would be fine. Do I want to go lighter with the pill? Because if I go 800, I think it's going to disappear. Yeah, that's just barely visible. So 800 was the wrong direction. Unless I want to go, let's try the darkest. If we go 900, that is the same as the background color. So 700, or let's go 600. That could work. What do we do down here? Let's keep that in line with the Twitch status as well. That in dark mode goes to 700. So gray 700, and the text color on that goes to, it's not defined. It goes to 400. From 500 to 400. But here we go from, yeah, 500 also. Okay, then let's go to 400. Let's see if that is good. That is not good. Is that it? That can't be it. What did I look at just now? I have to look at... I don't know where I have to... I don't think I have to find the text color on this. So we are going to go brighter. The text will be 200. Is that on the footer? Where have I defined the text color? Okay, yeah, so the text color, everything in the footer goes from 600 in light mode to 300 in dark mode. So we are gonna go the same way here. That means we go 600 in here. So okay, do we want to change the color of the links as well? We go to light mode, that is okay. And dark mode, I think the links are too dark. So you, we are going to take from blue 500, 400 to more. I think if we go too light, it being blue doesn't become overly obvious. So it was 500, can we go 400? Can we still recognize it as being blue enough so it's a link? Yeah, I think that is better. I could go a different color entirely, and I had that before, where in dark mode all links suddenly turned red, which I think wasn't too bad either. I'm gonna stick with blue for now. The heading here changes, the metrics change. Just one thing we want to adjust is these pills here. And I see that I have up here this pill that says available from late March. That is the availability component. So let's see what the numbers are in there. Availability, and this goes from, oh, emerald. This is a different shade of green. Oh. Right, because with the new Tailwind update, what was green before was always emerald in the background. So this goes from emerald 700 text to emerald 50 text, and from emerald 100 background to emerald 600 background. So let's go, where was it, in the metrics, where it says green, we are going to go emerald and text emerald. It makes sense to keep that consistent. So what do we say? It goes from background emerald 100 and text emerald, where is it, 700? In dark mode to BG emerald and 600, and dark text emerald 50. Okay, I might change that in both places now. Sometimes this doesn't reload right. And switch to dark mode. That seems too dark, and let's update it here, and then we'll update it in the header as well. So emerald, if we go 500 on you, I don't have to invert it. I can just use a different shade of emerald and keep the text dark. So if we go just darker on the text instead. So what are we doing? We are, let's make this a bit brighter. Instead of it inverting, instead of going, this is, instead of light on dark, it's dark on light now. It just goes to a different shade of color, a slightly darker shade of everything. We switch back to light mode. This is light, and it doesn't have to go inverted. This looks decent. So we're going to do the same thing over on the availability component, where in dark mode we go to 300, 900. In dark mode we go background 300 and text 900. Let's look at the top right here. Available from late March. Okay, sure. And if we switch back to light mode, yeah. Now though, with this being a narrow pill, you are px 2.5, py 0.5. Let's do that here as well. So 0.5 here, and if that text size is good enough for that up there, we are also going to go text XS on the, where is it? Text SM, go to text XS. Wait, you are not 2.5. Are you 2.5? What if we go px2 up here? Yeah, and 2 up here, down here. So we are on medium text. Is that text medium as well? Yeah, font medium, font medium. That repetition tells me that this thing probably wants to be its own component. That is for a later exercise. So px2, py 0.5, text xs. Okay, so these are now the same size, and that is still good enough. Now I think that this red is a bit too, like this is, we're gonna finish this up in just a second. Now this red is too much, goes down one shade in each value, and here if we go dark mode, we are going to go with the same movement as well in the color. So we are going to go dark BG red, and here we went from, with emerald, we went from 100 to 300, so we're going to do the same with the red. And dark text red, we went from 700 to 900, so we're going to do the same here, exactly the same. No, we're not. This doesn't look good. For the red, we're going to have to stay with a lighter shade. Huh, okay. But because I want to keep that relatively uniform. No, okay, so it doesn't have to be exactly the same value across different colors. That's why we have all the different shades. We can use the shade of red that makes more sense here. Now I'm thinking I might want to do the same with the page views though, because if everything else just gets a bit darker, then why would they invert? So we are going to go from BG gray 200 to, let's say, 400, and from text gray 600 to 800. And maybe even lighter. Maybe even lighter on the pill, and the text can stay dark. So if we go to dark mode, it doesn't have to invert, it just goes, no, that is, it's a bit too light for dark mode, and then make the text darker. At this point, I'm going to call good enough. I'm going to say that is, no, I'm not happy with that. If that is what it takes, then you are going to invert. There we go back to 700, 300. Not everything has to move exactly the same way. And this looks, because there's so many of them, it looks less annoying, less obnoxious. And with that, I think I am happy. We've changed that as well. We have the page views, unique visitors, visit duration. Do I want to keep it? Visit duration, I'm going to say it's probably seconds. So we are going to pass... Yeah, I can pass that here in the open, where I go metrics. We're going to go average visit duration, and the value will have to be S for seconds. What are you doing with the okay, no, I can't pass it as that. Okay, so we also need... I cannot pass it as in the value because the metrics component is going to take that value and it's going to run it through the formatter. So if I have a unit, let's say I can pass a unit to a metric as well. It might have a unit, which is optional. And here, not with the change, but with the value. If we have a unit, put the unit there, otherwise put nothing there. And I think we can just print the unit, because if there's nothing, it will print null, and that wouldn't be anything. Yeah, so if I ever get to thousands and I want to pass a k in here, that would work as well. But now the types I need to adjust to also for the metric include a unit, which is optional, and a string. Average visit duration 48 seconds. With this here where it says seconds, dark mode works. I don't have a clear separation between what numbers are page views now for this side and what is the Twitch number, so I might have to add some grouping at some point. For now, it's okay if it looks a tad messy. This, to be frank, is a bit messy, I have to admit, but I am going to keep it at that. I might clean it up a little in how I do the requests, but I can do that off stream, because this down here is starting to look a bit messy. I have to remove the console log. I have very similar requests here. We might use the next, just a few minutes on the next stream to clean this up. So I don't always have to pass this token here. I don't have to pass the for URL of this. I could, because for the Twitch API, this part is always the same, where it goes api.twitch.tv/helix. Or the Plausible API is always under v1 here. I could extract that, but I am going to do that next time. For today, thank you for following along. Next stream will happen on Tuesday next week, 10 a.m. Central European time. The stream on Thursday next week I'll have to skip because I will be on a very short vacation. I'm looking forward to having been on vacation in the longest time. Take care, have a lovely rest of your week, and talk to you soon. Bye bye.